Hello again, and thanks for stopping by. My name's Fiona and welcome. Last year in 2024, I lost 35 kilos, and today I'm here to tell you how I did that. In part one of this video, I talked about the 5 P's to success, and we covered the purpose, which is the reason you're wanting to go on this journey, the plan, which is the overall strategy of how you're going to achieve your weight loss goals, and then today we're going to go on and talk about the remaining P's, which is to prepare, to get everything ready that you need to go on this journey, to proceed, to get started and move forward, and also the final P being persist until you achieve your weight loss goals. I'm going to also say at this point that there isn't going to be a exercise video as part of this series. Reason being that I really didn't do too much, to be honest. I had plans when I was first starting out of trying to walk for about an hour a day. I think I've been to the gym maybe less than a handful of times in my entire life, so I wasn't going to be this person that suddenly turned into some sort of gym junkie and went to the gym every day. So I decided that walking would be my initial exercise. So I wouldn't see myself starting this whole diet regime and exercise regime at the same time. It just wasn't going to happen. So I decided to concentrate on my diet, and then any exercise basically was a bonus to that. So when I did go walking, this is generally what it looked like. So there's a fire trail track near my house that I do a loop, which is about 4 kilometres with my walking buddy Ralph, who also needs the exercise, and it takes me about 45 minutes to do that loop. Most weeks I would say I maybe manage that 3 times, if that. There's some weeks probably that I didn't walk at all, apart from just a short walk around the block with my dog. But having said that, I also don't live a particularly sedentary lifestyle. I have 2 children that I'm running around after all the time. I work, my office is situated. It's a bit of a walk from where I park my car to my office, and then when I get to my office there's a couple of flights of stairs to go up to get into the section where I work. So I just really took every opportunity I could as well to do any sort of incidental exercise. So even though I didn't have a structured exercise plan, I was still moving a fair bit throughout the day, just in my day-to-day activities. But yeah, I do enjoy walking, and I'm certainly trying to, even now, of getting into a habit of walking more regularly. So aiming to make that one of my goals in 2025. And also, I suppose if I had have been doing more exercise throughout the time that I was trying to lose this weight, potentially would have lost it faster. But you just got to do what you can manage. You can't expect to go from being pretty lazy, I suppose, with your diet and exercise regime to suddenly being this person that's training for a triathlon. So as I mentioned in the first part of this video, the diet that I based my overall plan on was the Fast 800 diet by Dr. Michael Mosley, which is a diet of how to combine rapid weight loss and intermittent fasting. And the premise of the Fast 800 diet being that 800 calories a day is the magic number when it comes to successful dieting. It's high enough to be manageable and sustainable, but low enough to trigger a range of desirable metabolic changes. The other element of the Fast 800 program is a form of intermittent fasting called time-restricted eating. You eat all your calories within a narrow time window, and what this does essentially is extend your fast, so the time when you're asleep and not eating, by a few hours. So apparently the research suggests that a 16-hour fasting period has the greatest benefit, but with most of your body fat burning happening 6 to 8 hours after finishing your last meal, after a full 12 hours it's likely to be particularly beneficial. So I decided to do a 13-hour fasting window and not eat or drink after 7 p.m. or before 8 a.m. the next morning. I want to go on and give you some information about the OptiFast program. These shakes really were the basis of my diet. I like that they're low in sugar compared to other brands and types of diet shakes. They're a complete nutrition in each shake, and they're around 200 calories a shake as well. If you're on a 800 calorie diet, 200 to 300 calorie meal is a really good thing. There are also 20 grams of protein in each of these shakes, and protein is key. I'll go on to talk about that later. Throwing in the random here, this is The Zone, which is a diet book that was popular back in the 90s. I took from this book a ratio of fats, proteins and carbohydrates that I've also had success in using in diets in the past. It identifies the ideal ratios or blocks of proteins compared to carbs and compared to fats, and it's about keeping those ratios consistent in each meal and snack that you eat. Each meal should have the same number of blocks of proteins and carbohydrates and the same number of fat blocks as there are protein blocks in the meal. Now looking at the OptiFast nutritional panel, concentrate on your protein. You're going to want to have about 60 grams a day, more if you're older or if you're exercising. This OptiFast shake has 20 grams of protein, which is around 3 protein blocks, being 7 grams each. So what you want to do is make sure there's the same number of carbohydrate blocks, so 3 blocks of 9 grams, 27 grams. This has 18 grams of carbs, which is a bit less, and it's fine. When I was researching the OptiFast products on social media, people were saying that the soups are actually game changers because you get to eat something that actually feels like a meal rather than a drink, and I would agree with that. Stock up on some soup. I like this one and the chicken one, and also some shakes in whatever flavours you like. You can often get them on special. Now we're up to prepare, getting everything ready that you need. I had a shelf set aside in my cupboard specifically for my diet food and all my shakers, etc. that I was using, and made sure I had everything ready to start. Now this is a little booklet that you get with the OptiFast products. Don't throw it away, there's some handy information in here. First of all, there's this spread in the middle that shows you the 4 levels of the OptiFast program. That being what they call the intensive level, the active 2 level, the active 1 level, and the maintenance level. Okay, but what I did to get started was I was just focused on this intensive level, which I did for 12 weeks. It says less than 800 calories there, because there's 3 meals involved, which are all around 200 calories, but I did allow myself 850 calories a day. I have a plan coming up shortly with exactly my outline. You'll also want to look at this on the back, which is the additional foods table. Particularly, this is the vegetables that you're allowed to have at any stage of the OptiFast program. What I did was incorporate them into my lunchtime meal and also my soups for the evening meal, just making sure to avoid the vegetables here on the avoidance column. Also in this table it says to avoid full cream milk, but Michael Mosley is pretty clear that fat is not the enemy, and I did allow myself a large coffee with full cream milk every day from the start of my diet program. The other thing to note here is to make sure you're having fluids throughout the day too, so plenty of water. I also had tea during the day with just a splash of lactose-free light milk, which I wasn't going to feel guilty about. So to recap, for me, I stuck to around 800 calories a day, no calories after 7 p.m. at night and before 8 a.m. the next morning. I tried to concentrate on 60 to 80 grams of protein per day and sticking to those ratios of proteins, carbs and fats, 1.5 to 2 litres of water a day. And once everything's in place, don't obsess over the numbers. Try and be disciplined, but not obsessive over the calories. So what did my plan actually look like? 850 calories a day, 5,600 calories a week. So there were some days where I had that 850 calories, other days where I had more, and I had 2 what I call fast days a week where I reduced that to 500 calories each day. And now onto the detail of that. Non-fast days, which is Monday to Thursday, every morning at 8 a.m. I had a coffee shake for breakfast. Lunch is always a salad in summer or a soup in winter, and then in my danger period, which is late afternoon when I'm really wanting to eat, I had another shake. It's pretty much always a chai shake, and then for dinner, which was around 6:30, I'd have another shake, usually vanilla, banana or strawberry. So you can see there on Saturday I allowed myself a treat day where I could go up to 600 calories for dinner or lunch. Had to still be healthy, but I could have sushi for lunch or go out to dinner. Then on my fast days, which was my Friday and Sunday, I treated my daily coffee as my breakfast on that day, usually a bit later. Lunch was an OptiFast shake, generally banana, strawberry or vanilla, and then for dinner I had an OptiFast soup, so generally the chicken or the potato and leek.
Also picked that soup recipe coming up later. Zigzagging the calories like this over the week allows for some variety and also apparently assists with not having plateaus in your weight loss. Now let's proceed, get started, pick a day and start. As I said, every morning for breakfast I had the Optifast coffee shake. I'm a bit of a coffee snob and I do like the flavour of this one. Just making it up with fridge temperature water. The key to all these shakes for me was to have them really cold, often with ice added as well. I also bought a NutriBullet when I started my diet regime. This is the smaller of the 2 cups that comes with the NutriBullet. The shaker in there is just from another random shaker I had. On the days I worked, I'd take the shaker to work with my coffee sachet and just fill it up with water at work. On the days I was at home, I used my NutriBullet to blend it up. Made all the shakes out of a 250 to 300 ml water, which is a bit more than what it says on the sachet, and with the coffee one was the only one I didn't bother doing the ice as well. You could probably even put this into a coffee mug and heat up in the microwave if you wanted to have it hot. This handle also comes with the cup, so enjoy. Monday to Thursday, lunch was always a salad. 9 times out of 10 it was a Greek salad that I made up in advance. This is from the Fast 800 diet recipe book, but I'll also include the recipe for my Greek salad below. At the time of eating, I'd bump up the protein, usually adding a can of drained tuna. Another salad option are these mini kits from Aldi. You can probably get something similar at any supermarket. Adding protein to this, some hot smoked salmon, some Persian feta, and also some mushrooms I had left over. It's a little bag of salad. There's a few varieties. There's the Asian one, there's a green goddess, and there's a ranch type salad. There are 160 grams in this packet. This Asian salad comes with the crispy noodles and also a little sachet of dressing. If we look on the back here, it says per serving it's 226 calories. Seems quite high for salad, but I think most of that's probably the dressing and the noodles. Now the hot smoked salmon, on the nutritional panel it says there's 3 serves in this packet. I'm just going to divide it in half though, which will be adding about 15 grams of protein to my salad. And the Persian feta will add about another 10 grams as well, and some good fats in there too. This is what the salad looks like. Tipped into the bowl. Going to add the crunchy noodles, only about half of them though to conserve the calories. And then adding the hot smoked salmon, just gonna chop it in half with my fork and flake it into fairly large chunks. Adding the salmon to the salad. That's how it's looking now, and going on to add the feta and the chopped up mushrooms as well. Time to add the dressing using the sachet that's provided. I'm only going to use about half this sachet of dressing, there's quite a bit there, and once again trying to cut down on the calories, maybe just a bit more. And there you have it, a tasty and filling salad for lunch. This is another variety in that same sort of salad, the green goddess, which I think is my favourite. The dressing in the salad is delicious. And to bump up the protein in this one, what I generally would add is some shredded chicken. So this is one that comes from Aldi in the packet, or I'd also just get a barbecue chicken and shred it up and freeze it in portions. With this one I'm going to add a little bit of cheese, just 20 grams. Once again, don't be afraid of some small amounts of fat, it's good for you. As I said earlier, in winter, instead of the salad, I'd have soup for lunch, which would generally be just a sachet of soup like these ones from Aldi or similar ones from other supermarkets, especially like the chicken, and just making sure once again to bump up that protein to around the 20 to 30 grams. Moving on to late afternoon, like I said, my danger zone when I'm most likely to snack, so I'd make sure I had a chai shake, making it into an iced dirty chai. I'm going to show you how. Probably my favourite shake out of the whole range. In the morning before I went to work, I'd get prepared, so get a coffee mug, fill it with a shot of coffee from my trusty coffee machine, and then that would go into the fridge and stay there all day, getting nice and cold, ready for me in the afternoon. Also at the same time, getting my fancy glass out of the cupboard and putting that in the fridge to get nice and cold over the day as well. Treat yourself to a fancy glass, make it more of an experience. Late afternoon comes around, time for your chai shake. I've got the Optifast chai shake sachet here, also a measuring jug that you're going to need, I've got some cinnamon, some nutmeg, and getting my nice cold glass out of the fridge and my cold shot of coffee as well. For this shake, coldness is key, so getting some ice cold water out of the fridge as well as some ice for this one, so some crushed ice first, and then making that total up to around the 250-300 ml mark on the measuring jug. Using the larger blending cup that comes with the NutriBullet, putting in that iced water, my cold shot of coffee that I prepared earlier, and then in with the shake sachet. So the chai shake, tip that into the same NutriBullet blending cup, putting on the bottom, screwing it on and onto the blender, and of course blend away. So once you've blended that up thoroughly, then pouring into the fancy chilled cup that you prepared earlier. Going on to add some shakes of both cinnamon and nutmeg, just because I like to have both. Adding the reusable straw, and there you have it, a cafe worthy dirty iced chai that tastes delicious and keeps me full until dinner time. Going on to the OptiFast soup option for dinner, you'll see on the allowed vegetables is konjac noodles, which are these, available in the supermarket, in the Asian section and the health section. It's made out of a vegetable root called konjac and very low in calories, which I add to my OptiFast soups for a bit more gusto, I suppose. As I mentioned before, I like this potato and leek soup. There's also a chicken soup that I really like. Also going to add some broccoli to this. This is just frozen broccoli that I'm going to steam on the stovetop, and a little bit of your good old Keen's curry powder there as well. So going to prepare the konjac noodles according to the instructions on the back. With these noodles, they come in like a liquid, and there's 2 servings in each packet, so going to need to divide that packet into 2. So what I generally do is just tip the whole thing into a container, and then I get some tongs, take out some of the noodles and divide that into half with the noodles I'm going to be using for my soup right now, and leaving the other noodles in the container in the liquid that they came in. Now the noodles that I'm using, I'm just rinsing here under some cold water and draining well, about 250 mils of just tap water for this one. And I'm using the smaller blending cup from the NutriBullet to blend up my soup. The potato and leek soup sachet into the shaker. I just find this is cleaner than making a mess of the NutriBullet. Shake it up and then pour it over the noodles that you already have in the bowl. Into the microwave for about 2 minutes. And then it's time to add the broccoli that has been steaming on the stove, or any vegetables from the allowed list that you enjoy. And then I'm also going to go on and add some of that curry powder for some extra flavour, obviously. And there you have it, a tasty filling soup for dinner. On the fast days, I'd have the OptiFast soup for dinner on a Friday and Sunday. Other nights of the week I would have a shake, either the banana, the vanilla or strawberry, my favourites. I'm just going to show you here a bit of an example of how I pinked the banana shake when I had that one for dinner. So adding some Milo, which is a chocolate malted powdered drink mix, once again using the larger blending cup from the NutriBullet, my measuring jug once again. As I've said before, cold is key for these shakes, so once again I've put my fancy glass in the fridge earlier to get cold in preparation for my shake I'm having for dinner. I'm also going to get about 300 mils of fridge temperature water to make up the shake. This one also adding some crushed ice to as well, measuring out to about 300 mils with the combination of the crushed ice and the fridge cold water there. Then into the NutriBullet blending jug, adding my sachet of the banana Opti fast shake into the blending jug as well, and then obviously putting on the lid and blending that one up really well. Putting the shake into the ice cold fancy glass once again. Makes up pretty much a full glass of the shake there, adding a sprinkle of Milo to the top. Banana and chocolate is a great combination, obviously, and once again adding my reusable straw to that, and there you have it, a banana shake for dinner. Once again, delicious and something I would look forward to having. I just sit down and drink this shake with my family for the evening meal, and I really didn't feel like I was hungry after it. It's a very filling meal in itself. Now that you're on your way, persist, just keep going. Keep those goals in mind and how proud you're going to be when you reach them. You know what you're eating, so just eat that and nothing else. Say no to the biscuits and the cakes at work. But if you do fall off the wagon, don't beat yourself up about it. Just pick yourself up and do better the next day and keep going.
If you've made it this far, really appreciate it, and hopefully this has been helpful for you. If you are going on this journey, please subscribe and then you won't miss out on all the details that are coming up. Thanks so much for watching. Great to have you here, and I'll see you again soon.